I saw a very interesting story. Actually, Debbie showed it to me about a daughter of Hamas. This is a young woman who is the daughter of one of the founders of Hamas. I've talked before about, and I did a special episode of the podcast on Mossab Hassan Youssef, who's the son of Sheikh Hassan, one of the founders of Hamas. But Hamas was founded by like 5 guys. And so that was one of the founders. Here is a ex-Hamas wife whose father helped create the terrorist group. We're talking about a woman named Juman al-Khawazmi. Juman al-Khawazmi. Probably there was a guy, well, maybe this is her married name. I'm not really sure. But in any event, her father was one of the creators of Hamas. And she was raised to hate Israel, taught to curse Jews and curse Christians. And then something happened that has been happening, it seems like a lot these days. And that is she saw Jesus in a dream. Wow. Jesus came to her in a dream. I did an episode on this podcast probably now a year or two ago talking about Muslims who see Jesus in their dreams. And basically what Jesus says is something like, you need to follow me. Go and find a teacher who will show you how to do that. And so these Muslims show up at the church, and the pastors or the priests are like, what are you doing here? And they go, I saw Jesus in a dream. I need you to instruct me about how I can become his follower. And our friend James Tour, who is a professor at Rice University, a world-famous computer scientist, but also a chemist, he has talked about ministering to Muslims who have seen Jesus in dreams, and in some cases have converted to Christianity, in some cases simply in their own lives just become followers of Jesus. And but here we have the Juman al-Qasami, and this is evidently what happened. She saw Jesus in a dream. He spoke to her in Arabic, and he said, "You are my daughter. Do not be afraid." Now, do not be afraid, I should say, is one of the most common phrases in the Hebrew and the Christian Bible. Many times at a time of crisis or fear, you have God saying directly, or you have the prophets saying, or you have Paul saying, do not be afraid. In other words, the situation looks dire, but God is in control, and so fear not. And this is a very important thing to say because Muslims seem to live a lot of their life in fear. They fear the Christians, they fear the Jews, they fear the world. They also fear God in a, well, we are supposed to fear God. So I'm not saying that the fear of God by itself, but one should not live in terror of God because God is indeed a judge, but God is also someone who loves us. And so an unhealthy fear is not something to be recommended. And here we have Jesus himself, or at least Jesus in the dream, saying to her, "You are my daughter, do not be afraid." Evidently, the woman got the hint, took the message, and has now, in fact, become a Christian. So this is, again, a very interesting phenomenon within Islam. And it seems that within Islam, more than anywhere else, we have this communication through dreams. I haven't heard about it coming from Hindus. I don't hear Hindus say, I had a dream. But for Muslims, and by the way, in Islam, dreams themselves have significance. Dreams have a lot of significance in the Middle East. Let's remember in the Bible, you have Pharaoh has a dream, and then Joseph comes and expounds what the dream really means. Pharaoh's own interpreters can't get it right. Joseph tells them what the dream means, and Pharaoh goes, okay, well, you are clearly someone anointed by God. So this is the same phenomenon attested to in the Bible that now seems to be playing itself out in a very striking way, even in the bowels of the Islamic world. When I first came to America around 1980, I had $500 in my pocket. That's it. Now, if I'd been really frugal and not spent a penny of that money, what do you think it would be worth now? What could it actually buy now compared to what it could buy in 1980? Well, the answer, less than $130. Now, why is that? Because the US government, through the Fed, is constantly printing money and devaluing your money. When the government prints money, there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and services. So guess what? Money goes down in value. Money buys less. The Fed has been at it since 1913. That's why a dollar today can buy just what a few cents could buy in 1913. And the government continues to print oceans of money. It really never stops. Now, an ounce of gold reached a high of $850 in 1980. It's worth now around $3,900 an ounce. So historically, over time, we see gold has gone up and up in value. Dollars have gone down and down. And what about in the last 12 months? Gold is up over 40%. I believe now is the time to find out how you can diversify your savings with gold and silver. And this is why I've partnered with Goldco. They offer the best customer service for precious metals ownership. They are also the only gold dealer that offers a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to 10% in bonus silver on qualified purchases. There's no better offer out there, so take advantage. To learn more about how to safeguard your savings from the dollar's decline, go to dineshgold.com. Very simple, easy to remember, dineshgold.com.